today we're kind of at a crossroads, I feel like, because I want to get into us talking about how we can make this STEREOCast more appealing to an audience. I feel like right now we're just strictly the documentation of the creative journey, and we need to kind of branch out to that, or we need to branch out from that. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, though, right? And if you do know what I'm saying, to what degree do you agree or disagree?
So I do agree. I think there's definitely things that we could do to kind of spice it up a little bit. Keep it a little bit more fresh and not as I don't know, but then again, it's like it's good to have segments, and it's good to keep ourselves organized with the things that we're wanting to accomplish for this week. Yeah. And kind of work through it together on the STEREOCast. Yeah, I feel like we're doing a pretty good job of that, of like updating each other on what's going on, and then just talking about things that are interesting to us. But I also feel like if we do want to gain a following or an audience, we need to, like, and I hate to say this, and I want to say it in, obviously it applies to us in a different way, but we need to appeal to some sort of existing crowd. If we are going to gain an audience or gain a following. Otherwise, I feel like we're playing a really long game of building a community. So that's where I think like we need to see what we can do, brainstorm some ideas. Let's shelve that topic for now, and let's get into our regular update segment of what's going on this week in the business. Welcome back to episode 006 of the STEREOCast.
You are tuned into the STEREOCast, a digital diary of the creative journey of StereoFace. If you're enjoying the show, consider subscribing and join us on the journey to 100 subs.
On that note, we want to thank our 2 new subscribers on YouTube for a total of 17, as well as our Instagram followers growing by 2 for a grand total of 63. Thank you, everybody, so much for your support.
We make our peanut butter and jelly from the direct support of you, the listener. Visit our website, stereoface.vision. That's stereoface.vision.com to see what's available and on the horizon. My name is Sam, and as always, I'm joined by Noah Goodale. What's up, dude?
How's it going, man? It's been a good week.
Indeed it has, and we are here for another StereoFace. You will have now known that the StereoFace before this went up a little bit later. Sorry about that. We had some scheduling issues and production issues, which we are getting sorted out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I have been doing a lot of research on sewing techniques and different stitches and different ways to stitch for different garments and all that, mainly what my sewing machine is currently capable of doing, because I can't do there's some stuff that obviously it can't do. So it's a sub $200 machine. It has its max capacities.
Yeah.
But
does your sewing machine handle like denim well?
Yeah, it handles it pretty well. It can do a couple layers of denim.
Okay.
I haven't worked with super thick denim. But that kind of goes into the next thing I was wanting to talk about. So throughout this week, I've documented it all. I'm working on a pair of pants.
Nice.
From scratch. They're kind of based off of the Levi's 550s, I want to say. Fit side, like the bagginess of it. Cause I want baggy. I just don't want like Jenko jeans baggy. And I want them to be more of like a work pair of pants. So there's going to be
utility to them, but they're going to be super, super simple. Without stealing too much, Capital has a pair of pants that they call the Easy Pants. And I really like that naming scheme, so I might try and to steal some of that inspiration for these.
So when you say like it's not really complex, like are we talking like there's hardly any pockets, or?
So there's going to be more pockets than what I got right now. I'm wearing a pair of the 550s right now, and it's got 2 fronts, 2 backs. There's going to be 2 backs, and there's probably going to be 6 front. They're going to kind of be like it'll be all exterior pockets, so it won't kind of go in. It won't be. It'll be like patched on pockets almost.
Yeah.
But kind of using these pockets a little bit more strategically for things that we do here at StereoFace and what we want to do. So like there's going to be pockets for like your phone, your wallet, obviously. There's going to be like guitar pick pockets. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or small, like for like chalk, just your small stuff. And there's going to be like a pen and pencil holder. Probably more pen, because it'll be more of like a clip. So it'll just be fabric that you can clip on to clip a pen to. I don't want there to be any hardware on it either, so there won't be buttons, there won't be zippers. I'm trying to figure out how to kind of go in that direction. I want them to be super easy. Easy to manage, easy to take care of, but sturdy.
Nice. Yeah. Dude, that's sweet.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. It might be something that I might want to do as like a inquiry for StereoFace. And I want to do, I have a bunch of fabric that scrap fabric. So what I want to do is I want to take a couple different dyes and dye those up and put them up on the website with it, so people can pick if they want just a standard denim or if they want to do a dyed denim. Just a little bit more variety, kind of make them more made to order, custom.
That's cool too, because like if we do start taking orders, like that gives you a lot more time on the sewing machine to like get the reps in and get familiar with like the process itself.
I hope it can get to that point. I won't do it until I'm happy with this product. Everything's got to be nice and tidy. I don't want there to be any exposed, you know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be like haphazard shit I would have done like 5 years ago. An idea I had was to kind of do like a custom pocket layout. So you can pick your layout for your pocket. The top pockets would be probably for phone and wallet. And then the bottom 2 sets of pockets, I would want maybe a little bit more custom. And you can kind of customize it at your will. Like maybe we have like a pocket layout 1, 2, 3, and the customer can decide what layout they want, and then that'll be the customizing on top of this standardized fit.
That would be cool, dude. I'm excited to see what this first pair looks like.
Yeah, man. I just need to get more thread, then I can start cranking them out.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about that reel or that short, dude.
We had the best performing reel today, or short, whatever, vertical content. Usually when I post videos, I'll post them at 6 a.m. my time. I don't have any theory of why. I just do.
Feels right.
Normally, they hardly get any views in the first like 8 hours. And then after 8 hours, they start really picking up. This video, I woke up at 6 when the video went live, and then I was doing something, checked a half hour later, and that sucker was already up to 74 views.
Interesting.
So we're up to 526, which I think it surpasses any other video in terms of views that we've had.
Right.
And it's only been up for 9 hours, around there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge win, and that feels good to have a video. I feel like there needs to be another word that doesn't mean viral, but like a lower version of viral.
Yeah.
Because this went a lower version of viral.
Yeah.
And that's really freaking cool. So yeah, other than that, on the business side, for myself or professionally, just been cranking out content and then trying to, like, I don't know, right now creating content feels kind of nice because there's nothing that we have to do because we don't exactly know what works.
Right.
We're really just making content in whatever means, however that it comes together, and posting it to see how well it does. I feel like this one, the one that popped off today, your sign to alter your wardrobe. I don't know, this might be a format that we can keep doing that'll get consistent views. Other than that, it's really hard to say what else performs really well. I mean, we mentioned like last week or the week before how if I put in a certain like meme, like sound effect, it does well.
Yeah.
I would like to not have to rely on that all the time.
Same here.
But hey,
if it works, it works. I guess. I mean, it is just the shorts. But there's a good amount of content throughout that one video that we haven't used, right?
The one where you're laying out all the garments? Yeah, no, for sure. Because my thought is if this does well, and maybe regardless, like I'm going to keep doing that for every garment that you laid out.
Okay.
Because I know you originally did it, I think, for like our archive.
Yeah.
So it's like everything that we wrote for the archive, we have a visual now, and then we can just make, I don't know, 6 or 7 more.
Right.
Shorts. So that'll be cool.
Sweet. It'll be like a like a video archive of the archive that will eventually be on the website.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In December we started making an archive, and then procrastination took over, and we really haven't done anything with it.
Yeah.
So that'll change eventually.
Yeah, that's just another project.
Yeah.
Just another project.
So, other than that, we have a full month of statistics to look at on our YouTube.
How exciting.
And so I measured subscribers added, impressions, which is like how many people see our content, views, and average view duration. And for subscribers added, I had a goal of hitting 25 subscribers by the end of March. We made it to 17. So honestly, that's not bad. Obviously we didn't hit the mark, but that's okay because we were pretty damn close. And then I didn't have goals for anything else because I don't know. But now we have like the actuals, and now we can kind of use that as a benchmark. So we had 689 impressions. So I think that's 689 unique viewers that saw our content.
Okay.
I don't actually know if that's 100% true, but that's ballpark of what impressions means to me. Views, we had 2,219 views.
Wow.
So
that's good to hear.
Across all of our long form and short form content, 2,000 views. So that's pretty cool. And then the average view duration, I don't have the averages because I think it's averaging even our short form content and our long form.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's a really good way to measure how engaging a piece of content is if it's 2 different styles. Sure. So I need to figure that out. But yeah, that's where we're at metric wise, and I feel like that's our baseline. So for March, I have us hitting 50 subs
At the end of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we just stick with that.
Let's stick with that.
And if we end up being like really below target, then we'll be like, okay, let's make it something a little more realistic. But let's keep striving for that 50. And then I think I'm just gonna put our actuals for impressions, views, and average view duration to what we actually made this month or last month, just to use that as a benchmark of hopefully we can get more than what our actual was last month.
Right.
So that's what I will do, but that's a quick run of our monthly metrics.
Cool, man. I love that.
Trying to think if there's anything else worth noting.
And I saw we got a few comments.
Did we?
I mean a few as in like 2, maybe 3. But
like recently?
No.
Oh, okay.
Throughout the month, which I think is super cool.
No, for sure.
You definitely got to go out of your way a lot more than just hitting like to leave a comment. So all that activity is so cool to see.
It is. It's really cool. And even when we do like the intros of we gained 2 subscribers, we gained 6 last week, like dude, I don't care if it's even one person. Like that feels so freaking cool to have somebody else feel that they were invested enough to subscribe. It's a really gratifying feeling, and I don't ever want to be I don't ever want to take like a small number for granted.
No, so even if it's one this week, one next week, like it literally just that consistency of just people, even if it is just one person, it's so cool to see. And it makes me so much more appreciative of what we're doing, to know that even one other person is even semi-interested. Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. It makes me so happy.
We are 2 subscribers away from surpassing my personal YouTube channel. So,
oh really?
If you're watching this right now, consider subscribing to smash that goal.
Would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
So, I feel like let's shift gears now, and this is where it might go off the rails a little bit, but let's start talking about brainstorming some like content ideas. Or I wrote in our one-on-one, just like I feel like we need a refresh of how we produce the STEREOCAST. I feel like the first month we did it, the segments were a bit too segmented.
Sure.
We had like the updates, and it was personal, professional, and interest, and we would ping pong back and forth. But that took like on average 15 minutes when the title of our video was something that they had to be like 20 to half an hour into to get the value. So I want to figure out, first I kind of want to I feel like when you search up how do you make viral content on YouTube, like it always starts with the idea. It always starts with, what does your title look like? What does your thumbnail look like? So I would almost suggest that we just start there, because that's the general consensus of where you might start. We want StereoFace to be the documentation of a creative journey. But I feel like it also needs to be something else. There needs to be something else.
Right.
So when I even when I look at our YouTube titles,
of our first video in particular, that has the most views. Mm-hmm. And when I look at the title, creative endeavors are never too late to embark on. That, to me, that is more intriguing if I didn't know who we were, to click on it to see what it was about.
Yeah.
They clicked on it, they found out that we're two lifelong friends looking to start a clothing brand. We don't know how to do it. We're just going to start. And hopefully they got some value of like lifestyle inspiration or something like that.
Sure.
So I think where we start is, I think our titles need to be more universally interesting.
Okay.
And use that as a hook to get people to see how that title applies to us.
Gotcha.
So
let's keep it a little
I
bit
think
more
that's
vague, but on
keep it
vague but on point.
I don't know if vague is the right word, because I want to make sure that whatever we set up for them, whatever that setup, the title is, we deliver in the video. So I don't want to go like too far out and make it like clickbait.
Yeah.
But I think, okay, our first episode did really well. And who's to say why we had the most views on that one. Mm-hmm. But I just look at the title and the thumbnail, and to me that's more universally appealing. So when we're talking about updates, because I feel like that's what we do now, like that's like we talk about what's new in the business, what we're doing. I feel like there needs to be another layer of maybe why we're doing it, how it relates back to StereoPhase as a business, and then whatever that content is, that becomes our title that we later deliver on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you have any ideas, thoughts?
If the data shows that's what works, that's what works. And I think that we could definitely adapt to that and get a little bit more detailed on what we name it. Because obviously, title and thumbnail obviously is going to be the main attention grabbers if you're not familiar with what we do. Or who we are, like you said. So, putting more thought into that and really doing a research on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that's would be very beneficial. And if there's like a theme that we could go with weekly for these STEREOCASTs and the titles that we choose, and keep it consistent. I think consistency is also another one of those main things, is keeping it viewers coming back every week and almost knowing what to expect for the most part, at least.
Yeah.
Like they come for a theme, and that theme should stay consistent.
Yeah. So again, the theme is we're starting a clothing brand.
Yeah.
And then if we were to kind of layer that theme, I don't know, I'm just trying to brainstorm. Like you brought up how you're making a custom pair of jeans. I'm trying to think how we could use that as, like, what is that saying about our business, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're starting to do this.
Yeah, I mean, experimentation could be definitely a recurring theme, because everybody loves a brand that experiments. Nobody wants to, at least for the most part, they want something new, but they also want something that works. So doing good experimentation at least brainstorming wise, then coming back the next weeks, and actually delivering on that, I think that could be very beneficial.
So how does that look? Like, if you were to give an example.
Well, like with the jeans, what you're saying, like there, we talked about it on camera, and may or may not end up on this week's STEREOCAST. I work on that throughout the next week or two, and come with at least progress on that and keeping that going. Once that's finished, start a new one, and just keep that going, almost like a segment.
Yeah.
I'll bring in something a little bit new each week.
Mm-hmm. So then, I mean, it's sort of what we're doing with like the hats.
Yeah.
Then we'll do it with the jeans. So to me, this is a segment of like what's new, which is kind of already like what we're doing
right.
with our updates, is we're saying what's new in the business.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like branch beyond that. And I'm just trying to think of like, I feel like a lot of people in our space might do like news, like fashion news.
Sure.
And I don't know if you would be interested in talking about that kind of thing or not. That's completely up to you, but I feel like you would be definitely the person that could speak on that kind of thing.
Okay.
So when I think of like content that people, that's more universally appealing, news is one. Teaching is another. I don't exactly know what we have to teach other than come watch us do this business thing in real time.
Right.
But I feel like to a degree, like you have a lot of knowledge that you might not feel is like teachable, but it probably is. Like something with sewing, you know?
Right.
Or something with like even just your like appreciation for music or your appreciation for clothes. Like more than just what we would talk about as interests, we have to like package it like as if we're teaching somebody something.
Sure.
And then make that the value of the video.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know, because I feel like teaching may not be a bad place to start, because it already kind of is influenced by what we talk about as our like interests.
Yeah, I do think we could expand on it to a teaching, like do like a teaching moment each week. No matter how small, I think that could be kind of cool. It's like we're talking about what we're doing and working on that week, and we kind of go into a small transition of here's how to do a piece of what I'm working on. Like a simple like how to sew in a straighter line. Or like on your editing side, here's how you make a better transition or something within that world. Like I think we could we both have individual skills that are pretty different from one another. And I think that would be pretty cool, even if they're like pre-recorded bits that we record throughout the week. Just like a quick 5-minute max tutorial on anything that relates to what we're talking about for that upcoming week. I think that could be pretty interesting, along with a news segment. I think that's a very good idea.
The way you're bringing it up almost makes it seem like
these are their own like long form videos, separate from the STEREOCAST. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a bit of an identity crisis with the STEREOCAST because I feel like not having a community right now, we're really struggling to do anything we can, and we don't know what like the right thing is to gain that following. So I'm bringing up all these different ideas, like let's teach, let's do news, let's do something. But at the heart of it, we do just want to document what's going on in our lives, keep it a little bit more casual. But maybe we have like these videos like you're talking about, which would be their own long form. And literally it's like you said, whatever you can speak on. Like on my end, like you mentioned, like video editing, like I feel like I could give an approach to when to use this type of transition over this one.
Yeah.
And it's not like related to StereoFace, but it is. Like it's what we're interested in, but it's not, it's not clearly reflected in the brand.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's kind of where my head's at, is like, I don't really know. Like, I want to do more, but I don't know what to do and what would be good content,
I understand that. A piece of me is kind of conflicted. What I'm trying to say is long term, I want our fan base to come for the products and our output of physical and media, and how I personally look at the STEREOCAST as a documentation of that journey. But at least what I'm thinking at the moment is our long term, when we do have a community, I want that community to be focused on our design and output of product. If that makes any sense.
So you want, like, ideally our subscriber base is like genuinely interested in the brand itself.
Yes. And, 'cause I think this should definitely be a recurring, like, weekly, and continue to stay weekly. And if we can improve on that and get some community from that, I think that would be great and very beneficial. But I don't want them to think of us as StereoFace, the STEREOCAST. I want them to think about us as STEREOFace, the creatives, or brands, if you want to say.
Okay.
That's long-term thinking in my head.
No, yeah, I think that's good to think long-term like that. Yeah, which definitely poses the question of, like, would putting more thought and planning into these segments, is that going to yield a subscriber base that genuinely cares about the brand? And there's a better way to say that, but just people who are genuinely interested. Well, I think you said it. People who are genuinely interested in the brand and not the STEREOCAST, like what we cover here.
Yeah, I guess the way I look at it is this is more of like it is probably the easiest way to grow a fan base and community, but how I look at it is this is more of like a deep cut for the people who are interested and want more of that backstory.
Okay.
But that's not saying that we shouldn't put more and more and more thought into it. I guess I'm just saying
we can't be too, like, greedy for the community, because if we really I don't know, if we put all of our attention into growing a community, then our creative process or our creative endeavors will suffer as a result.
Right.
That's kind of how I'm interpreting what you're saying.
To an extent. I don't want to say that we're necessarily doing that. But I think a good way to grow, at the end of it, what I'm trying to say is I think we need to put more thought and more out there. Design wise, clothing wise, and the actual media that we want to end up doing. I think we also need to put time into alongside the STEREOCAST and use the STEREOCAST as another way to document and advertise that content while also still being a diary of ourselves and our journey and interests and so on.
Yeah. And you called it ideally like a deep cut.
Yeah. It is personally the way that I am looking at it currently, I should say.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like where your head's at. I think my head was short term and your head's long term. And I think finding a balance between the two, but I would almost argue leaning towards your side because I think I've mentioned this before, but just like I'd rather just in general, like better to like be patient than to like rush in and do things because we want to grow community as fast as possible. And I think that's where my head was at. And yeah, I think there's a way of putting thought and planning into things that doesn't come across as like, I don't know, it doesn't come across like we're trying to scale this thing as fast as possible.
Sure.
You know? I think let's play the long game. Let's let people find us, which requires us putting out the content, which is where the planning comes in.
Yeah.
But let's let them find us. Let's let them find this in particular. And for those people who are really invested, like let's let them have a say in what the STEREOCAST is as well. Because they are that invested, you know, like that's where the community comes from, is people who are genuinely invested.
Right. Yeah, man, I think it's good that we both came to this thinking two different ways to look at it, because then we can find that balance. And I think both thoughts are needed to make this brand successful. I'm glad we had this conversation. And I think it'll help with every aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah. So I think a big takeaway from this is let's not push to optimize the STEREOCAST, because this is our most organic thing the most organic like communication that we have with the people who are invested.
Right.
So let's keep this, I don't know, like everything that I was talking about, like let's introduce different segments. Maybe that just becomes long form type stuff, like stuff that we're genuinely interested in.
Yeah.
We'll have to like really kind of vet the ideas in terms of like, is me doing a video on video editing, is that really worth doing? Do we want to do that? Does it align with our brand and what we want to convey? I think that's the big takeaway, is separate the content, don't integrate.
Right.
So I think in terms of the STEREOCAST, I think, I don't know, I still kind of want to tweak how we present certain topics that we already have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think above all, let's use this. I don't know. I really kind of want to lean into the STEREOCAST being more unfiltered, unedited as much as possible.
Completely organic and natural conversations.
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. But I think it should be structured, but keep that structure a little bit more, I don't want to say hidden, but natural. Keep it as a natural conversation.
For sure. Yeah, and it's not natural right now just because like we're 5 episodes in.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're really still trying to figure out. I don't know. I don't really talk to many people outside of my wife and you. So like public speaking like this is something that I'm really picking up. So
yeah, man, I'm right there with you. It's weird to get comfortable talking to a screen and a camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I guess I have one last addition to add to that. What I feel like I've been creating, at least as of the last couple of weeks, to fulfill that spot in the STEREOCAST, when my head should be creating for Stereo Face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a shift I need to do to really make that just better and more organic, and truly think of it as the documentation of STEREOCAST, the documentation of whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because even for me, I'm slapping together these reels, and I've definitely been more concerned about quantity over quality, and that's something for me to reflect on too, and say, okay, if you want to like put more effort into the brand, tweak the edits to really reflect our aesthetic.
Sure.
Don't just put the content together because you're trying to get 3 out.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's an interesting thought in terms of how we spend our time.
Yeah, it would be really beneficial to bring someone on and kind of handle that the media creation, like shorts and editing together these episodes.
I would really like to, and I am like documenting the process of how I produce STEREOCAST, how I produce the short form content that we put out this week. So yeah, like I really have to figure out when to pull the trigger on investing in somebody to help us.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a conversation of who it is and what we're willing to put into that investment, or / capable, and what really makes sense. Like what we do is we film it, we send it off to them, and that hopefully would free up more time on your end to do the creative ventures that you want to do for StereoFace, instead of being the media editor.
I mean, I gotta think about that too, because I would say just like vertical content for now. I can do this. I can do the StereoCasts. It's pretty fun for me to put them together. But the short form content is like, there's so much content in the backlog that could be so many different things that it'd be nice to bring somebody else on to like help put anything out at this point, because on the short form or like the YouTube side, like quantity is good. So the more we can put out, the better.
Yeah.
But then like if I had that free time, like I would definitely be putting more time into like getting our website polished.
Sure.
Getting just getting more like media things set up. I feel like there's a lot of setting up to do still. But then like creatively getting something music off the ground or like integrated into the brand, helping you with like designs and like concepts
Because right now I don't have the bandwidth for that at all.
Absolutely. And that's, at least in my mind, that's my goal, or my where I would like to see you at. You have a very good skill, very talented at video editing. But I know you're very talented in music. You're very talented in, like, I think you could do very good long form videos as well, like documentary style, essay style. And I would love to see something music, Stereoface from Sam.
Come of that.
I think that would be absolutely awesome. And that was my real hope, is to do more music with you. Even if it's, I mean, not necessarily with you, but putting that attention to it, your music.
One of my like dreams and goals in the near future is to have, I guess, a group of songs ready to come when I come back in September to like debut or release. And then Emma and I talked about we want to go see the East Coast, so we're going to be traveling all along the East Coast. And if I can be playing music, maybe under the Stereoface moniker, under something else, but to integrate Stereoface into live performances, to then get people to like, hey, if you want to support me, the person you're seeing as an artist right now, check out Stereoface.vision.
Yeah.
That's where my creativity lives with my best friend Noah.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, man.
So that would be nice to have that availability to do it.
Yeah.
To get that off the ground in some way. But yeah, I feel like that's a whole other like brainstorming conversation.
I feel maybe if we want to talk about that next week, we can do a long talk about that. Because I would absolutely love to get that off the ground with you.
Yes.
And help and give you and help you in any way that I have the capacity to do.
All right.
But I honestly have a couple ideas already, but I don't know if you want me to just spitball them out to you real quick or completely save them for next week.
Let's spitball them because we're at over an hour.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I got a hour 12 on my audio.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's, dude, spitball them just because they're on the tip of your tongue right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them out there. They're recorded. Two forms. So I think one of the ways we could integrate Stereoface into these performances is through obviously your costume, your clothing that you're gonna wear. I think that'll be a very big part, and also maybe like a small set design. Yeah. Or something along the lines, because I know like Jack White, I follow him on Instagram. I'm going to see him in April, but his concert, I mean, there's usually like a color theme to it. Like right now it's blue. Have like yellow lights or something. I mean, it could be super simple if we wanted it to be just like yellow lights, or maybe like the stool that you use or the mic stand that you use is Stereoface designed / colors. Yeah. I don't know what we could do necessarily on that, or what stages / bars / venues you would be playing at. So I guess that would definitely make a difference in our if we do stage design or not.
Yeah, I think that's where we should lean into like costume. Like I think we should really put some effort into a reoccurring costume. Yeah. And I say costume, maybe I mean wardrobe.
Wardrobe
like
is a better word for it, I think.
A consistent thing where, I don't know, so, like I'm a pretty average white guy, but to elevate the silhouette in a way that differentiates me from the other people in the bar, the other people at the open mic. Yeah, I feel like that would be a good first step, is to work on some like special kind of wardrobe.
Yeah.
And then from there, then like maybe I'll get a band going. And then it becomes set design. Then it becomes lighting.
Sure. Process to it.
Yeah.
Steps.
Dude, let's pin this for next. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this will be all next week's conversation.
Perfect, man. I'll do some writing down on some ideas I come up throughout the week. But yeah, man. Do you have? I guess. All right. Let's just pin it. I'm gonna keep talking about this.
No.
Do you have an idea of what you would play at? Like, would they be bars? Would they be small clubs? Would they be?
They would be wherever the hell I can play.
Okay, so it wouldn't be pre-booked. It would be a week of type stuff or like month of.
It would be, it'd be a little mix of both, but heavily right now, very impromptu week of type stuff.
Okay.
In a year and a half, hopefully there'll be a band. Hopefully there'll be some sort of mini tours going on.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, week of, obviously you got to think about mobility and setup of the stage stuff. I mean, maybe like even like a mug and a mic stand, a rug, a mic stand, and maybe a light.
I was wondering if you said mug or not.
No, yes, I definitely said mug. A rug, a mic stand, and a light. And just keep it simple, but get the point across with it. I don't know, but that's definitely something to think about. Do you have a sound that you're going for? Are you going for an upgraded version of Your Days in Delusion?
Yeah. The problem is like traveling around as much as we have, all of my stuff has been like very acoustic.
Okay.
So I really want to see, I don't know, I would like to play as a trio again, like more of like a rock thing, because I really like the rock genre. Yeah. I'll have to get back to you on that, like genre wise, because I really can't say right now.
Sure.
Like I have to think about like what I want to do versus what I think would be good, and I don't know if they align at the moment.
I get you.
So
can I what's the word? Inspire you a little bit?
100%.
So Chris Cornell, he has a album called, I think it's Songbook, where it's a live acoustic version of all of a good chunk of his songs. Mm-hmm. Those songs are very much rock. They're hard rock, grunge, all of the above, but they're acoustic. It's literally him and his guitar singing like Fell on Black Days, I Am the Highway, Like a Stone, on a guitar, on an acoustic guitar, nothing else. So I don't know if that's a way that you could write, is acoustic first, then make rock. But
then make it rock.
I always go back. I probably go back to it once a month. That Songbooks album by Chris Cornell, and how good it sounds acoustic and how good it sounds electric. Like it, I think it's a crazy how he made them both sound good, but original and separate, but together at the same time. You know.
Okay, so I think that kind of answers the question, and like in terms of genre, like I'm not gonna define it, but it is gonna be like, these songs are written on acoustic, but like wait till you hear it as a trio.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like there's gonna be both sides to it, and that even makes sense of like if I'm playing an open mic, band probably can't be there, but I just showing up with my acoustic guitar. I can play that. And then if we have like a booked gig or something, then we bring in the band, then we bring in the amplifiers.
Yeah, man. I love that. And if that's something that you think is doable, I don't know how to write a song. I've never wrote a song before. I don't know the processes of, or if you can kind of just do it, whatever makes sense to you. I mean, I think that's usually what happens from the interviews I've seen. Everybody has their own process of doing it. 100%.
And I feel like it always changes too.
Does it? Okay.
So you just, I don't know. I'm not going to say what I do because it always changes.
No,
it's
yeah.
never anything special or consistent.
Sure.
But yeah, we should do something together though. I think that would be fun.
Dude, I'd love to. I don't know what I can do, but I'm gonna figure something out. And we'll do something, even if I'm just like a background hummer or a vocal or whatever. I don't know. I can't guarantee I'm gonna be able to play a guitar.
Or maybe you'll pen the best chorus or the best verse.
I might be able to help you write. I would like to help you write, actually, if you want to. I have some.
No, hell yeah.
I have like a list of lyrics that I've written down myself, just tucked away, hidden in my notes app, that I've come up with a song idea, other than I've come up with a couple lyrics to a couple different things.
Yep.
Not necessarily saying I'm going to share those with you, but because I'm not to that level of confidence with it. It might be very cringy. I don't know. but
dude,
I would love to. That's something I've wanted to get into, is writing and expand on that and hopefully get better. Not necessarily just songs, but just writing in general, getting my thoughts across in the written word. I think is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
We're going to put a pin in STEREOCAST here. We have generated some great ideas in terms of how we perceive the STEREOCAST, really tackled that issue. Stay tuned next week. We're going to be having a conversation about music and how we can reignite my love for music. And then also make it beneficial for our brand.
Sure.
And really tie everything in. So shout out to our new subscribers. I think we had 2 and 2. So 2 on YouTube, 2 on Instagram. Thank you to the 4 or whatever combination. But thank you if you are a new subscriber this week. Thank you if you are a day 1 subscriber. Thank you to everybody along the journey for hanging out and supporting what we're doing. You got anything else, Noble Goodale?
No, just so I want to second the thank yous. Thank you, everybody. We got some great ideas, and I can't wait to run with them, man.
Same. I'm really glad we had this conversation.
Same.
So
very constructive.
Okay. Until next week, that is the end of this STEREOCAST. We will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.